Hey, what is up, good people? Thank you for joining us on the Scabbard, joining myself on the Scabbard. Some people think I have a multiple personality, but that's okay. We are here to talk Buffalo Sabres hockey tonight. Another great episode of the show, talking about, first off, a great victory against the Colorado Avalanche. And let's start with let's go with our stat of the night. So, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen got his first career shutout with 23 saves against the Colorado Avalanche. That is our stat of the night, stat of the day, stat of the night, whatever. But the way the game went, the Avs had a great push out of the gate. Really, I think this game was won almost in the first 5-10 minutes of the game, in that the Sabres withstood a very heavy push by the Colorado Avalanche, who had been shut out the game before against the Pittsburgh Penguins, and really kind of pushed for that opening goal right out of the gate. I think if they'd gotten the goal, this would have been a much more competitive game. Um, so Okopeka Luukkonen makes some really good saves at the beginning of the game, and the Sabres score. They get scoring from all over. JJ Peterka, uh, uh, Rasmus Dahlin gets the empty netter at the end. Tyson Jost gets a goal. Casey Middlestat gets a goal. So really good game all around. Um, I will say that the Bryson Johnson defensive pairing looks shaky, especially early on, and that's just probably nerves. I mean, I, I will say it a couple points during the game. I was saying get Bryson off the ice. You know he wasn't handling some of the pressure really well, but he did get better as the game went along, and maybe I can chalk that up to, being his first game of the season, sitting the first, almost first month of the season. So, um, that he got better as the game went on, makes me feel a little bit better about him playing tonight. They kept Colorado flustered for the entire game. All those chances they had at the beginning of the game, really for the most part, they were on the outside. They got pucks on net, a few pucks on net, uh, and UPL was there to make the saves and made really good saves early on, but really never challenged too much down the middle. And what times the Avs did get any chances in on UPL, it was a one and done. It was when they got sustained pressure, it was all to the outside, never sustained pressure down low. So yeah, they kept them flustered. You know, poor Kale McCarr had some issues in that game. Went off the ice early. Um, looked shaken up early. Then later in the game, Kyle Okposo bumped into him, near the goal, sent him crashing into the boards. It was a very awkward look. I mean, that leg bent in a way I don't think a leg should bend. Um, and I get why Colorado was angry. I mean, your star defenseman goes down like that. If they'd done the same thing to Rasmus Dahlin, I would expect the same response. Um, Nathan McKinnon got a little too heated with his dissension to the refs not calling a penalty there, and got a game misconduct. Well, not a game misconduct. He got a match penalty. Well, I'm sorry, he got a misconduct penalty, so he was out for 10 minutes, and also a unsportsmanlike as well. So, Sabres weren't able to capitalize on the power play at all in this game. So, things to work on. They do need to work on their power play and make sure that they are able to capitalize on these situations. The misconduct isn't, at man advantage. That just takes McKinnon off the ice for 10 minutes of game time. So he did come back, but really the stars didn't factor in this game. McKinnon or Makar was too injured. Um, and McKinnon was, he was put on tilt by the hit. And Rantanen didn't really factor in. He had maybe one or two good shots on net in the game, but he was their leading scorer, and we kept everybody off the score sheet. So, good game all around. Again, work on the power play. You did kill off the Avs power plays, and the Avs do have a powerful power play, so that was good. Especially in the third period, the Sabres took 3 penalties in that period. and we're able to seal the victory anyway and keep the shutout. So good job by the Sabres. Can you replicate it? That's the question. So tonight's opponent is the Philadelphia Flyers. They started off real hot. I think they were 3-0-1, and have cooled off since then. They lost 4 of their last 5 games. Lost against Carolina late in the game last time out. A 3-2 decision. Tara Vinen, I believe, scored the game winner late. But I will say the Flyers have given the Sabres problems. Last year, they were the only team that took both points against the Sabres when they wore the red and black. Uh, uh, the only other loss was an overtime loss, so the Sabres got a point. They shut the Sabres out when they wore the red and black, and we saw how vaunted the Sabres offensively were in the red and black. They got another 4 goals on Sunday. Uh, so, and the Sabres dropped way too many points to the Flyers last season. If you are trying to make a playoff push, this is a team that you need to beat. Yes, they started off hot. Torts teams tend to start off hot. As the season wears along, that doesn't remain true, and this is a team that you should beat. This is still a rebuilding team, so the Sabres need to beat the Flyers. They need to take care of business. Yes, it's a tough environment in Philadelphia. The fans are tough, but this is nowhere near the Broad Street Bullies. So take care of business. Come out, take control of the game. We'll get to the keys of the game here in a minute. But here are the Flyers' projected lines from Daily Faceoff. Owen Tippett, Sean Couturier, Cam Atkinson on the first line, Travis Konechny, Morgan Frost, I can't remember Forrester's first name, but Forrester on the second line, Joel Farabee, Noah Cates, and Bobby Brink on the third line, and Nick Delorier, former Sabre alert, uh, Scott Lawton and Garnet Hathaway. Um, that's a heavy fourth line. D'Lo is good stuff. Friday, yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Right on, Jason. Appreciate the comment. If you have any question about hockey, drop them in here. So, let's see. Yeah. So, former Saber alert. Former Sabers tend to score against the team. So Nick Delorier is on that watch tonight. Um, Garnet Hathaway has been a thorn in the Sabres' side whenever he's played for Washington. His time with short time with Boston, he's a tough dude to play against. That fourth line is very tough. Scott Lawton has scored some goals against the Sabres, so watch out for this fourth line. Don't sleep on them. And of course, Nick Delorier brings toughness too. So if there's a fight, it's likely going to be D'Lo playing on. Uh, against, one of the Sabres. Um, but yeah, just keep an eye out for that line. It's gonna be a tough night. On the back end, this is a who of, hockey. I have no idea who some of these folks are. Sanheim, is, most recognizable name, Cam York, as well on that first pairing. Igor Zamula, I'd never heard of. I believe Scott Walker on the, second pairing. And then Sealer and Belpedio. I've never heard of these dudes before in my life. Um, it's a young suspect defense, so take advantage of this group. At least especially the second and third lines. Um, Lots of injuries for the Flyers and long term stuff, and we'll get to that in a moment. Playing in goal for the Flyers, it's been last report I saw was Carter Hart will be taking the net. Samuel Erison is the backup. Hopefully, we'll see the backup tonight. I'd love to see that. Flyer scratches, long term IR. So Ryan Ellis may never play again. He's got an issue that deals with both his hip and his core muscles. He missed most of last season. He's already been ruled out for this season, so we may never see Ryan Ellis again. Which is sad for the Flyers. I mean, they invested good money in this guy. He played really well with um, the Nashville Predators. Gave the Flyers a little bit of service, but may never see him again. Rasmus Ristolainen, former Sabre alert, but we're not going to have to worry about him in this game. He is on long-term injured reserve. and may not play this season. They haven't disclosed what his injury is, or whether it's actually an injury, but he is listed on long-term injured reserve. And then Mark Stahl has rib issues, so he's on IR, and that is why you're seeing some of the names on the Flyers defensive pairing that you're seeing because the that hits all three on the blue line there. All right, for the Sabres tonight, our forward lines are a little bit different. Uh, Greenway Thompson will be skating with Brandon Byro, uh, who was called up, and we'll have news on that here in a moment. Line number 2 is Skinner, Middlestat, Paterka. Line 3, Olafson, Cousins, and Tuck. Why does that say It must have been autocorrect. All right. And then for Gergensons, Krebs, Okposo. So, yeah, stays on the third line. Cousins moves into center that. Krebs moves down to Gergensons. The name that's missing out of here is Zach Benson. Zach Benson, if you've missed the news, is yeah, he's out week to week with a lower body injury. I was wondering what was going on with this game because he did seem he didn't have a really great game against the Avalanche. He took a couple, I won't say lazy penalties, but he took a couple penalties that really didn't need to be taken. So I guess we're learning that he is injured, and that might have been why his play has been off the last couple of games. So yeah, he'll be out for, I think the estimate was like 2 to 3 weeks. So we'll see what happens after he comes back. Still is looking for his first goal. He's had some assists. Has not looked horrible, but hasn't over the last couple of games has not looked fantastic. So that draws in Brandon Byro into tonight's lineup. Our defensive pairings tonight, we have Samuelson, Darlene, Power Yoki Haru, Johnson, and Bryson once again with um, Connor Clifton still out on his suspension. This is the second of his 2 game suspension. The starting goalie tonight, as you would guess, would be Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. With good news, coming back from injury, Devin Levi should be the backup tonight. That's the last word I heard. Saber scratches tonight will be Comrie as the IR. Jost is a healthy scratch. Quinn long-term IR, and Zach Benson on IR as well. Tonight's odds provided to us by. There we go. Tonight's odds provided to us by DraftKings. Um, Buffalo is giving away a goal and a half favorites on the road, so that's a pretty good sign. Over under 6.5. Um, so do with that what you will. Bet responsibly. If you have a problem, call the help numbers. There are many wherever you live. So, but that's the odds. I don't generally bet. I'm not really good at it, so I don't feel like throwing away money. All right, our player profile. It's our newest Saber, Brennan Byro, uh, undrafted. So this guy went through college, went to Penn State University, 4 years. Of course, there is the Pagula linkage to Penn State University, having been a student at Penn State, where his oil riches were made in Pennsylvania, and his name being on the hockey arena there at Penn State. Um, the tremendous benefactor to the university. So I'm sure the Sabres had scouts there and were able to check out Brendan Byro. I'm not sure how he went undrafted through 2 drafts. He's done really well and really has not had a drop off in his game since he's left college and gone to the pros. So yeah, he's a 5'11" center, listed as a center, plays left wing mostly. He is 170 pounds, at least according to Wikipedia. Um, yeah, went to Penn State University for 4 years. Um, had a season of 40 points, 16 goals, 24 assists. His junior season, his senior season, he had 10 goals, 15 assists, 25 points in 25 games. So he was, last 2 seasons he was a point a game guy. And he's really kind of done that with Rochester. 48 games his first season in 21-22, had 41 points in 48 games. And then had 51 points in 49 games, was second on the team despite being injured a lot of last season, um, the 22-23 season. 16 goals, 35 assists, 51 points. Was injured and missed the playoffs. He did have one game with the Buffalo Sabres right after he was signed. He was signed on February 12th, 2020. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was a year after he was signed. It was February 12th, 2021, after his college career ended. Signed with Buffalo, was sent to Rochester, and then a little bit over a year later, on February 23rd, made a season debut against the Montreal Canadiens. So, um, second game of his career tonight, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, he does well. Um, but yeah, uh, do I think that? I mean, I think Byro's fine for bringing up, but I'm also wondering, if you're going to put him on the first line, why you're not bringing up a guy like, uh, uh, like Rusek or um, Roseanne, Yuri Kulik. Um, those guys have started out really hot this season. In fact, the Amherst have started out really hot, and Byro's not a horrible choice. I mean, he's still a point a game player in the AHL, but yeah, let's see, what is that's the playoff. So Yuri Kulik has 9 points in 7 games, 6 goals, 3 assists. Roseanne's got 9 points as well, 4 goals, 5 assists. Um, and Byro has 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points, sixth on the team. So he's doing well for himself. But at some point, you got to reward a guy like Kulik, who's really done well the last couple of seasons down in Rochester. Um, but I think we're probably going to see. We might have to see a Olsen trade before we see Kulik come in. But I don't. What do I know? What do I know? All right, 3 keys to the game tonight: play responsible hockey. Sabres have been taking a lot of penalties the last couple of games. It didn't cost them against Colorado. They took 3 in the third period against a fairly dangerous team, and nothing will keep a lesser team in a game quite like taking penalties and giving them power play opportunities. So they two is they need to learn from the Montreal game. I don't think they took Montreal seriously enough. I thought they could. I think they thought they could come into the Montreal, the Bell Center. Well, I still want to call it the Forum, um, and push the Canadians around because they were, a quote unquote lesser team. I mean, look at the standings. I wouldn't say that about Montreal right now. Um, but they thought they could push their way to victory, and they played incredibly sloppy and let Montreal hang around. And when you do that, when you let a lesser team hang around, you are going to pay for it dearly. So learn from that Montreal game, apply it to this game. That's all you can do when you mess up a game like that. Apply it when the lesson needs to be applied, and then get to Carter Hart early. Again, this team has lost 4 or 5, 2 in a row. Lost late with Carter Hart and net the other night. And if you can get to him early, hopefully you demoralize the team. They may think that they're going on a long losing streak because they are predicted to be, the last place team in the Metropolitan Division. So feed into that. Feed that puck to Carter Hart, and hopefully you'll get a couple pucks past him early and cruise to victory. Let's see. On this date, November 1st, 1981. Can you believe it's November? So the Sabres did finish 4-5-0 on in November, and with 8 points. I haven't even looked at the standings in a bit. Let's see. Are they still dead last in the East? In the North? Yeah, in the Atlantic? Yeah, they are. So they're tied with Ottawa at the bottom of the Atlantic, 4-5-0. Um, but with a win, they can jump both Florida and Ottawa. Um, if Florida plays tonight. Nope. and Ottawa doesn't play tonight. So with a win tonight, they could jump all the way up to sixth in the Atlantic Division. So, um, but yeah, on this night, November 1st, 1981, Bob Sauvé stopped 37 shots. Tony McKegney scored twice as the Sabres cruised to a 6-2 victory over the Flyers at the odd. So, there are a couple of different ones that the Sabres PR put out, and I wanted to use this one because it's against the Flyers. So, maybe good juju for tonight's game, um, to replicate another big victory for the Buffalo Sabres. So, anyway, that's the show tonight. We are at 6:20, so I'm getting quicker on the show. Again, if you want to be a host, if you want to come on and talk hockey, I love talking hockey. So reach out on my socials. If you're watching the show, you can reach out, DM me there on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. You can reach out on YouTube. I will be happy to talk to you, see if we groove, and we'll schedule a sit down and talk some hockey. So anyway, thanks for watching tonight. Go watch the the uh, Sabres pregame show on MSG, or listen to the Sabres pregame show on WGR 550, which is already going on. So, but have a great night. Go Buffalo. Let's start a win streak tonight. That would be nice. I'm tired of doing this every other night thing where we're talking about loss versus win, versus loss. So let's get a win streak going. Let's get the good vibes rolling. Anyway, thanks for joining us tonight, and we will talk to you all uh, for our next game, which is also against the Flyers on Friday night. So we'll see you then.